Hey there, I am Christie Ruffino, former broke single mom turned CEO of 2 six-figure businesses and best-selling author with 15 books. But it wasn't always like this. Not long ago, I was a hot mess. Yes, I did a lot of things right, but mostly I was throwing spaghetti on the wall to see what would stick. Fast forward past many failed attempts and a few incredible victories, I not only get to share what I've learned along the way, I get to bring together top influencers as they share their empowering stories, insider secrets, and valuable resources that can be used right now to step into your power. So, if you're an ambitious entrepreneur, or possibly one in the making, and you're looking to create a business and life that lights you up, well, then you're in the right place. Well, hello, and welcome to today's episode of the Mastery Unleashed podcast. This is Christie Ruffino, the host of this show, and today I get to interview Alina Vincent. Now, if you don't know Alina, she is a business strategist, a speaker, and international best-selling author of Teaching Your Expertise, Leveraging Your Expertise, Owning Your Expertise, and Monetizing Your Expertise books. Can you guys see a theme here? She definitely has built a thriving business helping people tap into their own expertise. And she does that with one of her very specific strategies, which is online challenges. Now, I will tell you, if you are listening and you're like, well, what is a challenge? Or I've heard about challenges. I don't want to do a challenge. They're a lot of work. They don't like result in anything. I will tell you that's my thought process, or it used to be my thought process until I got to reconnect with Alina in the beginning of the year. And I heard an amazing talk where she taught some of her brilliant strategies. And then, of course, on today's show, where I was able to dig in deep with some specific questions around how to create a challenge when you don't have a big list, which I know is a huge challenge for some entrepreneurs. And then if you do manage to get, 50 people in a challenge or even 20 people in a challenge or whatever that magic number is for you, how do you get them to actually, once they've signed up, because they're free, you know how it is. A lot of people sign up for free stuff, but don't actually show up. And so how do you get these people that are not committed financially to actually become committed mentally so they show up and do the work? And so she shared some brilliant strategies, as well as she is providing an amazing free resource to our audience. So that way, if you want to give a challenge a whirl, you'll have a lot of the inner secrets that she teaches her paid clients. You'll learn how to do it from our show, from the free resource she's giving. So that way you can go ahead and try your own challenge. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and quit talking and let you guys see for yourself what a brilliant strategist Alina is. And hopefully, like myself, this may shift your thinking around challenges so that way you do one and you not only use it as a great way to serve your clients, serve your clients and build your list, but it's a great way for your clients to actually get results because they're going through a process to get some specific goal, but they're doing it with community and they're doing it with accountability. And that is a brilliant part of helping people create transformations by making or providing them community and accountability. So if this sounds good to you, stay tuned for our show because Alina has some juicy tips to share with our audience. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the Mastery Unleashed podcast. I am so excited to have Alina Vincent with us today. Welcome, Vina. Welcome, Vina. Welcome, Alina. It's going to be a great talk today.
Wonderful. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So I've been kind of stalking you for years and been in some of your little challenges, which I've heard from so many people. You are the master of challenges. And then when I actually kind of did the first one with you, I was just, it was amazing. I've not really hosted an official challenge, but one of these days I will. So what I like to do is start off with talking about your why. Like, why are you so passionate about this? I know you are a brilliant business strategist, but you become known as the queen of challenges.
Yeah. So it's interesting because my love for challenges started before I had my current business. The first business I created after I left my university job was photography business. So I had a photography studio. I was eventually specializing in headshots and marketing photography, and that's kind of led me eventually to what I'm doing right now. But when I was first starting out in that business, I joined a lot of groups, a lot of communities to hang out with other photographers. And that's where my first real brush with challenges started because we would decide on a topic every month. We would say, hey, this month let's try to shoot underwater, or let's do sparkles in the night, or let's do these thematic photo shoots. And it was all for fun. So nobody was really orchestrating it. Nobody was making money on that. It wasn't a list building activity. It was just basically a community deciding to challenge uh, ourselves and to learn a new skill and get inspired by each other. So that's where the two biggest things that I still love about challenges came about. So number one was you are surrounded by a community of like-minded people. They all have similar goals. We're all learning from each other, and there's a lot of inspiration and excitement that's happening when a whole bunch of people doing something at the same time. And the
Mhm.
second part is the actual challenge part, because some of the things we've tried because it was somebody's idea, it's not something I would do on my own, or it was scary, or I didn't know where to get started. So get yourself out of the comfort zone and actually try something new and get the result. That's the other exciting part about challenges. So when I started my current business, where I'm doing marketing strategy and business coaching, when I first was deciding on what's going to be my first digital product, how can I help multiple people at once, something clicked, and I decided that creating online program was a little bit too big and too scary, but creating a challenge was really, really fun. So my very first challenge was a 21-day challenge where I walked people through a specific goal, through a specific process. In my case, it was how to get clients from Facebook organically. And that was the start of my whole entire business. And the two big elements, again, that community element and challenging people to do something new and exciting, are still part of every single challenge I've ever done.
Yeah, well, so we're going to get into your specific strategy around challenges after the commercial because I have a bunch I've already written down. But so you have a unique story, and
Mhm.
I heard a little bit of your story on the cruise in January. We were both on the marketers cruise, and I had never really heard your story from that perspective before. So, do you want to share a little bit about your story and how you kind of got onto this whole online marketing business from being in education and photography and all of the different things that you've done?
Sure. Growing up, I never ever thought that I was going to be an entrepreneur. I grew up in a family of college professors, so I'm a third generation teacher. And for
Mhm.
me, the path in life was kind of outlined. You go to school, you graduate, you go for degrees, for more degrees, you stay at the university, you teach, you get tenure, and that's basically the whole entire life. And I've always loved teaching. So I went to school, I got a couple of advanced degrees in theoretical physics and computer science and engineering. So for the first 16 years of my career, I worked at the university. And the last six, I was actually an instructional designer, which meant that I was actually introducing technology into education. And we created some of the very first online and hybrid courses at our university. So I've always been in this uh, teaching mode. I'm definitely seeing myself as a teacher first in everything that I do. But eventually I realized that I didn't like having a boss. I did not like having to ask permission for anything that I wanted to do that was creative and outside of the box. And
Mhm.
that's when I quit my job and started my photography business. And even though that was pretty successful, we got to six figures within the first 18 months. I quickly realized that it was not leveraged because everything I was doing relied on me being there one on one. So every single thing. So if I stopped working, my business stopped making money. If I wanted to take a time off, my business stopped making money. And I also couldn't grow it because
Mm.
there was just not enough hours in a day. So
Yeah.
that's when I said I have to go to one to many. And this is where we are.
Yeah. Well, and that's why you're so brilliant at what you do is because you have these great strategies, but you have the teaching element to be able to kind of transform what you know to others so they can actually apply it. And that's a gift. Not everybody can do that. I know I struggle with that. I'm getting a lot better, but I know when I first started coaching, that was something I had to learn.
Mhm. Yeah, we teach a lot of that. Like, how do you actually take that knowledge and information inside your head and package it in a way that helps people get results on their own? Because, yeah, it's something that you can definitely learn, but it doesn't come natural. So,
Yeah, because I know there's a lot of people in the expert business that have a huge passion, like they have a heart. They want to help others. But if you don't learn that piece of it, then you can't just like wish people to change, and you can't wish people to learn what you have in your head. So that's incredible that you have that teaching expertise. That's what probably, I'm sure, a big, huge part of what's made you so successful.
yes. Hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. We're going to take a quick break because I want to make sure we have enough time to dive into the strategy around challenges, because I know you do things a little different than other people do, and I want to really talk about the distinctions of your principles. So, hang
Sounds
tight,
good.
and we'll be right back. All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. This is Christy with Alina Vincent, and we're going to talk about the strategy of hosting successful challenges. Now, you know what? I said earlier that I didn't do a challenge, but I actually did one maybe about 5 years ago. I didn't know what I was doing. But what you said earlier in the first segment kind of shifted my thought process around it, because here as an entrepreneur, and most solopreneurs, that we're constantly looking for ways to find our ideal clients, and I always kind of looked at a challenge as just being this great tool to attract people. But what you said earlier, it's from their perspective, what they need is the community in accomplishing a goal, and the step-by-step process that during the challenge, you're getting them out of their comfort zone so they can get from point A to point whatever, B or C or D, whatever your challenge is designed to do. So I love that. I mean, I know that's probably one of the distinctions of your challenges, but I think that I'm hoping that the audience heard that difference. And so what are like some of the challenges that you've done that you found to be the most successful?
So, I have a long story with challenges. That first challenge that I just told you about was a paid challenge, and it was a 21-day challenge, the very first one I created. And that was almost 10 years ago. So since then,
Ooh, yeah.
we've been doing challenges. So I was starting to do challenges before challenges was a thing, because before anybody even knew what challenges were. Back in the day, I would be on stage and I would say, "Who here heard of challenges, doing challenges for business?" And like three hands would go up. Now I think I get five invitations in my mailbox every day with people inviting me to their challenges. So it definitely the market shifted. So over the years, we've tried different lengths. So we've tried 21-day, 10-day, 5-day, 7-day, even 30-day challenges.
Mhm.
We've done paid and free. And after about a couple of years of experimenting with that, I decided that my gold standard is going to be free 5-day challenges. And that's all we've done since then. I also have a program where we teach people step by step how to actually launch their profitable challenges. And we've had thousands of people who've been through it and created it. So if you have any questions, like we've been there, we've done it, and everything that I will be sharing with you right now, like what my formula is, comes not just from like, oh, that's the way I'm going to do it. It comes from this experience of we've tried it other ways, and this works the best,
Yes,
basically.
the data never lies, right? And if you find something that works, you just keep
Yes.
doing it and improving on it.
Yeah. So the questions that I usually get is first of all, is why 5 days? 5 days is the most optimal length, especially for free challenge, because it's just long enough for people to get to know you, to start developing trust, to get the results, and not so long that they just lose the commitment, they lose the passion, they
Mhm.
get distracted with something else. And you're also not overwhelming them with stuff. So 5 days is perfect if you are trying to build your list, growing your following, establishing a name for yourself, developing that know, like, and trust, and the most important thing, creating the desire for your offer. Because we never create a challenge without knowing what we're going to lead people to. So challenge is, as you said, a tool that leads people to the program, the offer, the invitation you want to make it. So our format of our challenges is very simple, and that's why it's so easy to get started with, so easy to deliver and host. It's 5 pre-recorded,
Mhm.
5 to 10 minute videos. So which means you only have about 50 minutes of content in the whole entire challenge. So we heavily rely on the concepts of micro learning, which means that bite-sized content that's easy to produce, easy to consume, on micro commitment. So it's only 5 days and it's only minutes a day to watch the video and do the actually take the action, and micro wins. Every single day, we strive to make sure people get a result, get a win, get a transformation, get something that they didn't have before. And if you put all of this together, what happens is at the end of the 5 days, people who'd never even heard of you now say, where have you been all my life? I want more. And people say, you've gotten me to see the result, to create a transformation in 5 days in a free training. I can only imagine what's going to happen if I invest to work with you in this program or event or whatever is coming. So that is the simplicity of the formula that we have. And the majority of where people make mistakes happens in how you design the challenge and how you choose the topic.
Gotcha. So, talk about some of the mistakes because I know there's probably a whole slew of mistakes that people have with challenges.
Absolutely. The biggest one and the most dangerous one is choosing the topic for your challenge. So first of all, some one mistake that people make is they just say, "Hey, this sounds like a great topic for a challenge. I'm going to create a challenge," and then they try to connect it with an offer. So that's a bit. We already kind of mentioned that. You always want to start with what is the offer I want to make, what is the end goal, and then design the challenge. And the second mistake that is very, very common, and interestingly enough, it's true across all of the levels of business. So I have people who just starting out the business, making it all the time. I have people with multi-million dollar businesses who make that mistake all the time. So it's just one of those things that people make this mistake. And what happens is they make the promise of their challenge too similar to the promise of their offer. So
Mm.
let's say, give me a topic, like something, a topic for a program.
So my program is around high ticket sales,
Okay,
creating a
so
high ticket program.
perfect. So if your offer is how to create a high ticket sales, the worst thing you can do for yourself is create a challenge on how to create a high ticket offer, because it's the same thing. And what happens is, will it be popular? Yes, because obviously you're known for that and people want that from you. You know, it's something that people want and need and desire. So if you say, I'm doing create your high ticket offer challenge, people will sign up. Now you have two things that you have to accomplish. Number one, you have to deliver on your promise. So you have to have people have at least a skeleton of their high ticket offer and ideas on what it is. And you need to create the desire for your offer. So the first one is easy to do. It's your expertise. You're basically going to teach them something every day where people feel like, hey, I finally got it. I finally have an idea of what my ticket offer might be. And I started to put it together. I have the name, I have the price, I have the deliverables. So yes, I feel good. And then what happens after that is you say, now I want you to sign up for my $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 program on how to create your high ticket offers. And people go, Why? I
Right.
already learned everything I need to know.
Yes, they feel
And
complete already.
they feel complete. It's basically you just gave them a band-aid. And even though you might have 17 more hours of stuff you have to share,
Mhm.
people overestimate how well they've learned something and they underestimate what else you can share with them. So what happens is they say, why do I want to pay money for more of the same? Because that's how they perceive it. So the biggest, I do a lot of launch debriefs when people say like my challenge didn't work or with like people love the challenge, but nobody bought my program. And that is usually the solution. It's because you've made the promise of your challenge the same as the promise of your offer. So you basically jeopardize your own. So the challenge worked too well. Basically, they feel complete at the end. So
Yeah,
what
you
you want
haven't
to do? Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say you haven't left them with the desire for more or the
Right.
next desire for the next step.
Yeah. So what we recommend when you're choosing the topic for your challenge, think of it as the first step. So for
Mm.
example, like let's come up with your idea for your height and offer, but my program teaches you how to sell it, everything about. So now the promise of it becomes like not that you want to change your program, but the idea is like step one, step two, create your offer, now sell your offer and sell your offer. You don't talk about selling it in the challenge at all. So they look at it as the next skill they need to learn. It also could be a prerequisite. It also could be an objection that you people have. So, for example, if your people don't believe that they can sell anything at, let's say,
Mm.
$5,000 level, you can have a challenge on how to up level your money mindset, right? And
Mm.
now it leads them straight into like, oh, now that I believe that I can sell high ticket offer, let's design and sell my ticket.
Yes,
So
that's a
it's
good one.
that kind of like, how do you give people something? Like, what do they need to know, understand, realize, or experience for them to know that your program is the next logical step?
Yeah, that's really good. So I see that. I know there are people that teach the opposite formula where you give them an appetizer kind of
Uh-huh.
portion of what your main program is. But yeah, I could see how that wouldn't work because they're not recognizing that they're only getting an appetizer. They're learning a lot and they're making some success, but there's so much more that they could get, but they don't know that. And so they don't take the next step with you.
Actually, that's one of the big, again, big misunderstandings about the
Okay.
challenge. Is yes, like if you look, for example, at Jeff Walker's formula, right, the traditional way to launch our office, our programs. When you're designing your PLC, the pre-launch content, you usually start with the focus on what your program is, right, and you give people little bites. Here's the biggest difference between challenge and every other type of lead magnet is if you download a PDF, if you download a checklist, if you download a guide, all you do is you have this PDF, you haven't done anything with that. You haven't applied. The challenge and its uniqueness is it's we are getting people to get the results. We
They're
get
doing
them
it.
to
Yeah.
experience, we get them into action. And challenge is the only thing, the only like free content that you give to people where people actually do it. And the reason the other process works is if you give people PDF on exactly the same topic, realistically, nobody's going to get the results. They might look at it, they might get like one inspiration, one idea, more awareness, but nobody is actually doing stuff. In the challenge, you're doing stuff, it's experiential. And that's why it jeopardizes your offer.
Yeah. And with the downloads, with the PDFs, it kind of makes people more frustrated because they've downloaded it and they're not making progress and they keep downloading and doing all these free things and they're not doing anything. And so that I could see how that would create a bigger desire for people to work with somebody because now they're kind of frustrated at their lack of progress. So
Mhm.
they're ready to take action.
Yep.
Yeah, love that. Love that. So, when is a good time to start a challenge? Do you start a challenge before you have your offer? Do you have to have your core offer ready? Do you use a challenge to figure out your offer? Is there a certain time of the year? Like, how do we know when we should add that to our business plan?
Great question. First of all, anytime you want.
Oh,
There's
okay.
no like good time of the year, bad time of the year. We've done it over holidays. We've done it without the holidays. We've done it. We've even, ideally, you want to do like Monday through Friday, just because our brain works like this. Like I've committed to this for this specific week for this specific challenge. But we've had people starting on Tuesday, ending on the next Tuesday, and so forth. So the timing, it really doesn't matter. It's one of those mechanisms that if people want to get the result, they'll show up. Now, let's talk about when in your business is a smart
Mhm.
time to start a challenge. Ideally, You want to have an offer in mind. And the offer could be anything. So over the years, we've done challenges to retail our programs. We've done challenges to get one-on-one clients. We've done challenges to launch books. We've done challenges to lead people to like a flash sale or some like a Black Friday sale. We've done challenges to fill events. I've had clients who done challenges to sell physical products. That's not something we do, but our clients do. We've had people who launch software applications. We've had people who launch membership sites. So pretty much
Just anything.
any offer you think of, you can, if you put a challenge in front of it, you engaging people, and now you have this warm, engaged, active audience who is now ready for your next offer because you've primed them for that. You created a desire. So in fact, I have quite a few people who said if they just do a webinar and sell, let's say, their program, or if they do challenge followed by a webinar to sell exactly the same program, they get 3 times better conversions. So
Wow.
like, and that's across the board. Like I've had like at least 10, 15 people, and like on a serious level of business, like my like 6, 7 figure businesses where they do the same webinar multiple times and they have like statistically significant numbers to talk about. Like they across the board, they see if they put a challenge in front of anything else they're doing, they're getting higher
Mm.
conversions. Now, another thing you asked is what happens if I don't have an offer? What if I don't have a program? So first of all, you can always offer one-on-one stuff, so you don't have to like get ready for it. You can just say, "Here's the challenge. Now, would you like to work with me one-on-one? Here's my coaching package." So it doesn't necessarily require much prep. We also have people who do a challenge just to learn the process of the challenge when they're first starting out, and what how they monetize it is you can always sell the recording, so you can do a VIP upsell for your challenge.
Yes.
So this way, it still creates a digital product. You still growing your list. You're still growing your audience, like that community. We usually do all of our challenges inside of the Facebook group for the
Mm.
community element. So some people who are just starting out in their business, that's their comfort level. So they're just running a challenge and selling their recordings, and that's it. And next time around, they might create a different challenge followed by a little bit better offer or a little bit more leveraged. So there's like anybody can do it and anytime and at any stage of business. Like I shared with you at the very beginning, running my very first challenge is what put me on the map. That's what made me, what people made people aware of me. That's what moved me from just like one of the tens of thousands business coaches to a person who was creating a training that delivered the results.
Yeah. Okay. So you said just a minute ago that anybody can do it at any time in their business. But what if somebody's just getting started and they don't have a big audience? How do they get people to hear about the challenge and actually sign up?
Yeah, so that's where I was because when I first started, when I ran my very first challenge, I only had like a handful of people on my list, and they were all my headshot clients. They were all my
Yeah.
photography clients. So it was like a brand new business with a brand new audience, basically. So what I did is I went to a lot of networking events where you talk to people, and I would walk around with flyers saying, "I have this amazing challenge. I have this amazing training." Of course, it has to be the right message for the right audience. And on the bottom, I just had a like a tear off thing where it says, "Yes, I want to be in your challenge." And the beauty of a challenge, it's free and
Yes.
you are delivering tangible results. So who would say no? Again, if it's the right person that you're talking to. So I would walk into a meeting and I would have like 3 or 4 or 5, 10 people signing up just from having conversations. So it's a really great way of doing it if you basically have no people on the list. I have a lot of people in my programs who are just starting now. Like
Mhm.
they don't have following on social media, so they would just start doing Facebook Lives. They would reach out to their friends. They would ask if anybody could share their message. And again, if you pick the topic that your people want, it's a really easy yes because you say basically saying other people are selling this. I'm putting years of my expertise in it, and I'm going to give it to you all for free, and it's going to be
Yes.
practical, tangible training. It's a really easy yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, couple more questions. This is really
Sure.
good. As we're talking, more things are coming up. Um, but how do you get people, because it's free and they sign up, how do you get them to show up and stay engaged for the whole 5 days?
Ooh, great question. So we do a lot of gamification in our challenge. So first of all, we have so again, we're using Facebook group.
Mhm.
So people would get their pre-recorded video so they can watch it at any time during the day. Again, it's about 10 minutes. We can talk about that too.
Yes, yes.
I can see your reaction here. So we do so they wake up, they see a video in their thing, and it says, here's your video, here's your 10-minute video, here's the assignment that you need to do. And sometimes I do something physically, sometimes I do some brainstorming or do a research or make a decision, and
Mhm.
then report on that assignment in our Facebook group by 10 p.m.
Oh, by
Whatever
10.
time.
Okay. All
Mhm.
right.
So we have a cutoff. So they basically have a whole entire full day and almost and a half because we send it out pretty early to do this. And we randomly choose one person to win a daily prize. The daily prize could be anything. We go from coaching sessions to access to digital products to Amazon gift certificates. So it doesn't have to be something big and dramatic,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
something little.
Something. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but
Just
it's
to
really nice.
gamify it, make it fun.
Exactly. And we don't pick like the person who posted the best answer or the smartest answer or the fastest answer. It's anybody who participated, anybody who reported on their
Okay.
assignment uh, gets put in a drawing. So we do that for 5 days, which definitely adds some gamification. And then
Yes.
do a grand prize at the end. So if the challenge
Mm.
is Monday through Friday, we usually do the grand prize on Sunday. And the requirements to enter the grand prize, they have to do their homework assignments for the first 5 days and
Yep.
then answer
Every
a few wrap up
consistency,
questions.
right?
Yes, there's consistency. Well, plus, my goal is not for them to sign up. I need them and want them to go through the challenge,
Yeah.
experience it. Otherwise, they don't know anything about me and they're not getting results.
Yeah. And you want them to have the wins. You want them to get the results.
Hmm.
So you're
So,
almost kind of like using the gamification as a way to help them help themselves.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a reward. And people said, they always say this things like, well, I didn't think I would be motivated by a $25 Amazon certificate, but oh my gosh, I put a timer
Oh,
and I
it
made sure
does.
my answer was in before 10. Yeah, and then in the middle of the whole challenge, so our videos are pre-recorded.
Mhm.
However, I will pop up into a Facebook group and I might do a Facebook Live. I might pull some people's answers and do a showcase. So, for example, if they're creating graphics for social media, I might pull and say, like, here's 5 I really liked, and let me teach you
Mm,
and tell you why they're good. Or I might do a critique, like submit your homework assignment as a critique, and I'll tell you what can be improved. So all of those interactive things, like going way above and beyond the Q and A's,
yes.
also bring the energy into the back into the challenge. And one day of the week, we do an official Q&A call on Zoom where
Perfect.
people can come and ask questions. So
That
there's
was,
a lot of interaction in gamification that helps us to bring people back into the challenge.
yeah, I was going to ask about that. If there was any time where you actually are with them in a, Zoom room or a live, is it like a Zoom room or like live where they're typing in their questions?
Both. So
Okay,
we
good.
do, so if I need to pop in and say like, okay, all of you got it, or I didn't explain it well, or like we need to course correct, I need to give you more explanations, I will do a Facebook Live. If I'm doing those showcases or critiques, that's going to be Facebook Live
Mhm.
because I just want to be in a group where they can see it. And then we do one official Q&A call on Zoom meeting
Perfect.
where
Perfect.
they can be on the mic because I don't want it to be like all I got to do is type. And originally, like when I was creating these challenges, I one of the thoughts was I wanted to give people a sample of what it's like to work with me inside my programs. So I like the way we record the videos is exactly the same how we record the videos for our programs. The way I run my calls in my programs is exactly the same how I'm doing it for the challenge. So people have an experience with me, so they know what they're getting.
I love that. All right. Well, we've gone through so much and I have so many more questions. I am really inspired to do a challenge now
You
because
should.
I just was kind of putting it off and I thought it's a lot of work. I was looking at it as all kinds of work to get people to get engaged. But if I'm seeing it now from the different light where every day they show up and I encourage them through gamification to create that little win with the pre-recorded video, which I think is brilliant. When they get that, they have all day to work on it. They have got all day to do their part of the process.
Mhm.
I just love that, and so I know I'm I'm inspired. And what I love, what you're going to give our audience today, is you've got this great resource because there are things that we didn't talk about that should be done and things that shouldn't be done. And I'm sure that you're going to address it in the resource that you're going to share with our audience.
Yeah. So what I have for you is our challenge checklist. It's called Profitable 5-Day Challenge Checklist. And how it came about, it was basically a checklist that me and my team used as we were setting up our challenges for our own business. So it basically has a checklist with all of the elements that you need to create before the challenge, everything that you need to have during the challenge, and even how some of the things you need to have after the challenge. And we've expanded it since then. It's part of my program, but you are going to get basically this amazing foolproof checklist of everything, all of the critical elements that you need to have in your challenge in order for it to be successful and profitable. And we're going to have a link for it, and you can go and grab it and enjoy it.
Ah, I love that. It's like Alina's standard operating procedures
Pretty
put
much.
into an easy checklist so everybody can use it to at least get the basics. But then if they want more, they can connect with you and I'm sure get into one of your programs because I know a lot of people that have been in them and they are just crushing their challenges. So, well, thank you, Alina. I really appreciate you being with us today. If you're listening and you were like me, kind of hesitant about challenges, I don't know, maybe we can be in a challenge together to have our challenge, but feel free to connect with me and make sure you go to the show notes below and get the link to access Alina's gift. We're going to actually put it in our gift vault. So you'll get other gifts as well. So you definitely want to do that and get her free gift and a bunch of other amazing resources in there. And you know what? This has been a fun time. I hope we're going to be with each other again on the next Marketers Cruise. Are you signed up for that?
I am for sure.
Yay.
Yes.
I think I've got the cruise bug now. It's super exciting. We're actually doing a Rise Higher at Sea on Virgin Voyages. We're hosting
Ooh,
one in February 2025 for women, a non-business business cruise to focus on more wellness and empowerment. So that's going to be fun.
that sounds great. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Alina. And thanks everybody for listening. Make sure you go to whatever platform you listen or watch Mastery Unleashed podcast and show us some love, support us, and follow us. The new the new YouTube platform has follows is what's important. And subscribing is now going to paid for paid listeners. So we don't have a paid channel yet. What we want to do is keep providing amazing content free. So please follow us so we can continue to bring on incredible guests like Alina. Well, thanks, Alina, and thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to the Mastery Unleashed podcast, where we believe that everyone can have the business and life of their dreams by turning their mess into their greatest message and following their purpose to help the people who need their newfound wisdom and resources. To learn more, visit masteryunleashedpodcast.com. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review to this show.